the RTA playthrough for today on the 11th. So looking at my new daily objectives that have just reset, looks like I'm looking at using 30 Hydra abilities, 10 Killmonger abilities, 10 Green Goblin abilities, and then just the normal knockouts. So we're going to kind of go in and do the typical strategy I have been employing since this whole thing kind of has started. So I will remove my Captain America and Thor and go in with a Crossbones and Baron Zemo. Those will be my two Hydra characters that I am shooting for to get to those 30 abilities. Again, kind of my goal in each one of those fights is to be able to do a minimum of 2 attacks per character, hopefully. Worst case scenario, getting at least 1 attack per character, but we will see. Just kind of going in, first matchup looks like this one will be a super easy one. Obviously very overpowered compared to my opponent, so I'm going to try to do as minimal damage as possible with my symbiotes. That way the characters that I actually want to attack are hopefully able to. So going in with Baron Zemo, got 1 attack for Zemo, and hopefully we can get 2 attacks in with Crossbones, but we will see. So I'm just going to taunt since he is already taunted. And it looks like they are targeting Zemo pretty hard, so it looks like Zemo is down. Hoping I should be able to get another attack in with Crossbones, but we will see. But yeah, so just kind of going in, kind of a very similar strategy I've been employing since the RTA has started. And, it's done pretty well for me so far. I have way since passed my 550 knockouts for the week. So really just kind of going in now, I am just doing these dailies and getting as far into the milestones as I can. And so yeah, we'll go through in the best case scenario. Hopefully this should only take us 15 fights. Worst case scenario, it takes about 30. But if we are able to manage about, maybe a minimum of 3 attacks per opponent, hopefully we should be able to maybe do this in about 10 attacks or so. This is definitely a bit more of a more even fight, so hopefully I should be able to manage a few more attacks in. I think I am going to go after that Rocket Raccoon first, just because I think he is going to be a little dangerous if he does get some AoE in, and I do not want my Hydra characters dying. So let's see what we can do with that. I'm assuming probably with this opponent, I'm going to say he's probably maybe going for either something Wakandan or Black Panther related, which is why I'm assuming he probably res that character. But so yeah, so we are just going to go in, keep the fight going, and see what we can do. I've already managed to get 1 attack each so far from both Crossbones and Zemo. Thinking I can definitely get a second attack from each of them, so that should bring this one up to 4, which will be pretty nice. Next character I'm going to target is going to be this Blob, and just because, he is going to hit harder amongst them. So I'll get Blob out of the way. After I get Blob taken care of, I will then probably go in and target Minerva, just so he's, not rezzing any characters back up. But yeah, so this is a nice easy fight and definitely an easy one to kind of get rewards. Sadly, Zemo just died from his bleeds, but it's alright. We still have Crossbones is alive and well, so I am going to take out Minerva, and this fight is pretty much over, so it's really just kind of getting in some extra attacks with Crossbones. So when available, I will probably try to do Anti-Venom's special versus actually doing any damage, just because it does give Crossbones kind of an extra chance to possibly attack. So going in, I think we are at 4 attacks so far for this fight, so doing pretty good. I think before Groot is dead, I should be able to get in a 5th attack, which will be pretty nice. And we are just zipping along with these milestones, as well as, just working towards the 25 knockouts for the day. If you have some really good luck, you should be able to do that in about 5 matches, if you're able to win all 5 of those matches. And then, so after we finish the 30 abilities, we will then move on down to the character ones. Those ones, kind of can be hit or miss, especially with my roster being a bit on the smaller side. But it looks like right there we were actually able to get 8 Hydra abilities in, so that is awesome. Looking at my other 2 characters, we're looking at Killmonger and Green Goblin, which those both on my account are not very built up, so those will be a little bit more challenging fights, and I will probably go in with that strategy of bringing in, I mean, it'll depend on how I feel, but I might actually just go for bringing in both characters and just seeing how we do, or I might bring in one of the characters and Minerva, but we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there. So going in, just looking, this is going to be probably a bit of a tighter fight. This is more of an actual opponent. Looking at them, they are probably looking to get some sort of credit for Green Goblin, as he is significantly underpowered. And so we might be a nice guy and we'll let Green Goblin live as long as it can. Obviously if he gets AoE, that's totally not my fault. But so yeah, so we're just going to kind of go in and kind of keep that strategy going of getting as many attacks as we can from our Crossbones and Zemo. Continuing to work towards that 30 abilities. And like I said, if we can get at least 2 attacks in per character, it's a win in my book. Any more than that is really just kind of bonus. We were super lucky and I managed to get 8 attacks in on the last fight, so really kind of a nice chunk towards that 30. So we're just going to kind of keep it going. Sadly, I did blow up the Green Goblin, so my nice guy routine did not work out all that well. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a fight, and, sometimes it happens. Luckily, we haven't run into anyone kind of rage quitting the fight. Everyone has kind of kept going, even though those first 2 opponents were definitely significantly underpowered compared to what I was using. So this team, like I said, pretty even in terms of power. I do think I have the upper hand at the moment. If I can get rid of that Mr. Sinister, this fight should be pretty clear cut. But again, like I said, I'm not as concerned with the actual knockouts in this fight. I'm just more concerned about using as many Zemo and Crossbones abilities, which I'm doing pretty good on that end. I think I've managed another 4 attacks, I think at least. Working on attack number 5. And like I said, if we can just knock out all the opponent, it's just kind of a bonus. So we are doing pretty good. We've got the Sinister down. I've lost almost all of my actual strong attack teams, so we will see if Venom can kind of hold the ground and see if we're actually able to turn this into a total win. If not, like I said, I did manage to get quite a few attacks in with Zemo and Crossbones, so I should be getting pretty close already to that 30 ability mark, and we are sitting just right now at a little over 8 minutes. So not too bad. Like I said, a lot of these dailies typically might only take about 15 to 30 minutes, depending on some of your luck. And then you just kind of go about your day and kind of call it quits. I was pretty lucky where I managed to do a bulk of the weekly quest items pretty early, and I already did max out to the 550 knockouts, so I am waiting for that to currently refresh. I did manage to get 14 Hydra attacks on that one. So this should be my last Hydra attack, assuming I am able to get in at least 2 attacks per Crossbones and Zemo. And again, looks like we're going in. This is a Asgardian team with a Sif, and it looks like they're probably either doing Marauders abilities or Sif in particular, or Strife rather. So again, I'll try to be the nice guy and I won't go after Strife right off the bat, but chances are any AoE damage I do, it is going to kill Strife, and again, at the end of the day, it is a real-time arena, so the goal is obviously to win, and so we will see. Waiting for the opponent to go. Starting things off, I typically, when going against Asgardians, especially in RTA versus in War, I do normally go after Thor first. Sadly, my opponent did just rage quit, which is annoying because I only got credit for that 1 kill. And essentially got a sore loser right there, which that is supposed to be resolved in the next update of the RTA, where essentially in a case like where that happens, instead of me getting no credit for anything, the AI would then take over. But sadly, that's not going on quite yet. Going in with this next one, again, pretty one-sided match. Looks like their thing is probably what they are trying to build up. So again, I'm not going to specifically target thing, but like I said, I do have quite a few characters with AoE, and there is a very strong chance that they are just going to get taken out anyway. And then again, I guess kind of the mentality of avoiding the weakest target. It's not necessarily on my end an angle of like good sportsmanship or anything like that. It's more just I don't want the enemy to rage quit. And it seems like a lot of people, once the one item they're using gets targeted, I mean, they just quit the match, which to me it's a waste of everyone's time. You still do get credit for knockouts, and if you haven't reached the 550 knockouts for the week, I don't understand why you wouldn't just try the match anyway and just try to get as many credits as you can. Because I mean, ultimately, I mean, if you were to have perfect luck, in order to get the 550 knockouts, you would have to actually, totally clear 110 fights. Which again, that's if you're killing all 5 enemies 110 times. I mean, it takes a while. So I don't understand why people are just quitting and not even just putting in an effort. Most people are bringing in at least one, if not two, weak characters. So there is the opportunity to normally at least take out one of your enemy's opponents. So to me, it's just kind of surprising, and I think it's almost like a bad culture to just kind of quit a fight because you lost one character. I think it's a waste of everyone's time, a combination of the person you're quitting on, you're taking time that they could have actually fought an opponent that was actually going to finish the fight and give them credit. And, just for yourself, you're now, you get no credit for the fight, and you are still going to have to do another fight to either get the weak character objectives or even just towards those weekly milestones. So I just don't understand why people are kind of in that mentality. And kudos to everyone that is sticking through a fight, even when they are very one-sided. And I mean, it's very obvious that you're going to lose. This is my baby account, so it is not like I am crazy overpowered on this account. It is, I'm still under 1 million TCP, and I really only have, I would say, maybe 3 fairly strong teams. So there are times where I am just totally outpowered, and, I just kind of put in the effort and hope for the best. We've now finished up our Hydra milestone, so we did our 30 Hydra abilities, and I think I'm going to chance it a little bit, and we are going to go in with Killmonger and Green Goblin and see how both of them do. This one is a lot easier, where you only have to use 10 of the abilities. So we will see. Hopefully, again, I kind of keep up the same luck. Again, the goal is 1 to 2 attacks per character, and if it happens, awesome. If it doesn't, I might switch things up a little bit, especially with my Green Goblin being as low as he is. I honestly don't think I have done a single thing for Green Goblin. So any AoE damage is going to take him out pretty quickly. So what I might end up doing is maybe subbing out Green Goblin and going in with Minerva. As you saw, both Green Goblin and Killmonger died in one shot, so that is definitely not helpful in regards to getting towards those 10 abilities. So I think what we are going to have to do is we are going to have to go in with Minerva and just kind of at least help the survivability a little bit. That res component for Minerva, even if they die in that first turn, I can bring them back, and hopefully they get an attack. And then also with Minerva's ability, they are also going to get at least 1 death proof, so that should hopefully help them out a little bit. So in the next one, we will switch out one of them for Minerva and kind of go through those 10 attacks. and then we will just kind of rinse, wash, and repeat, and swap out the other one, and then just kind of get those dailies completed. With stuff like this, it does certainly make the dailies take just a little bit longer, which, that part, it just kind of is what it is. I figured in one way I'm kind of saving a lot of time since of Sim Blitz now. Blitz, I mean, literally takes about 5 minutes. So in a mode that used to take, upwards of an hour to do a full rotation, is down to 5 minutes. And, so it's certainly freed up a little bit of time as far as what I have to do. So again, I just like to get these dailies out of the way. I typically tend to try to do them in one sitting, just because I find it a little bit easier. Some people, I mean, you might like to maybe spread them out a little bit. And that's perfectly fine. It's kind of up to individual play style. So, kind of just what I've been going at is, the way I'm handling these dailies is I am going in with 3 of my strongest characters that are not currently character banned. So I'm going in with my 3 symbiotes. Once my symbiote Spider-Man is built up a little bit more, I am probably going to sub out. Most likely, I will probably sub out Venom and sub him in for symbiote Spider-Man. But I'll make that decision a little bit later on. So I'm going to pull out Green Goblin for the time being and sub in Minerva. This should hopefully give my Killmonger a little more survivability, and we will see. So in this one, again, I'm definitely, overpowered compared to this player, going in with a full Guardian team. So again, things I really want to watch out for is I am avoiding any character that does heavy AoE. So I will target Rocket first, and if I'm not able to just outright nuke him, I will ability block him with Venom. But again, hopefully, like I said, I can get Killmonger to live as long as possible. Get him a little heal up, so we at least did get one Killmonger attack, and with my Minerva, I will res him back up as he did just die. He'll now have a death proof, and hopefully I should be able to get in a second attack, but it does look like my opponent is heavily targeting my Killmonger, so, I don't know if it's a situation of them just kind of targeting the weakest character, or if, they're just trying to stop me from getting points. I mean, you just really kind of never know. And again, it's nothing, I don't think you can take personal. Again, they're trying to get as many knockouts as they probably can. So by targeting your weakest character, that's probably the easiest way to ensure that you're getting some knockouts. So I did at least manage to get 2 Killmonger attacks in, which is, kind of what I said is like my ultimate goal. So we were able to get our 2 attacks in. In theory, if I'm able to do that 4 more times, I'll have Killmonger done and over with, and then I can shift on over to Green Goblin. So we'll go in with another fight, and matches have all been pretty quick. They seem to have resolved that little bug. We are now going in with a modified X-Force team with a Minerva. So targeting this team, kind of torn between priorities. X-23 is definitely something to watch out for, as well as Negasonic, just because Negasonic does have that very strong AoE component to her kit. But I think I'm going to target X-23 first, and just because her ultimate, when she kind of does those 4 to 5 attacks in a row, she will definitely target Killmonger for that attack. And like I said, I want to give Killmonger as much opportunity to live as possible. So again, the goal ultimately is at least 2 attacks, and anything above 2 attacks is just kind of a bonus. So we're going in, we're waiting for the opponent. Looks like I'm probably playing a human player. Possibly someone that's just kind of willing to let the AI take over, or they just are having like a really slow load time. But we will see. Hopefully it picks up. I definitely don't like the slower paced games. I try to keep things moving as quickly as I can. We did just have our Killmonger die, so we will pop Minerva's res, get him back on the field. Again, he's got that little death proof going, so hopefully he should be able to survive, assuming Negason, or assuming that X-23, alright, X-23 is taken care of, so that is a moot point. And Negasonic's AoE did not go after Killmonger, which is awesome. So now it's just pretty much about clearing the field. I'm going to go after Minerva, as I don't want her rezzing X-23. That would certainly be bad. So we did get our second Killmonger attack. Hopefully we can get a third one in, which would be really awesome. But yeah, so this is a nice easy win. I've already easily hit those 25 knockouts already. That's a pretty quick one. I haven't had any issues hitting that one. And again, a lot of the times it comes down to just my 3 symbiotes that are doing the fight, which I'm perfectly okay with. I seem to be getting matched for the most part with people around my TCP, or at least using teams that are around my TCP. So my symbiotes are pretty built up, so they are able to handle most teams. So we'll go in, we'll finish this up. Luckily, they haven't been targeting my Killmonger, which is super lucky on my end. Either facing a kind of a gentleman's fight, or I mean, who knows? Or maybe he just doesn't see the Killmonger as a threat. I'm not too sure, but I will take every single Killmonger attack I can get. I think I lost count. I think it was 4 Killmonger attacks on that one. So if I'm able to do something like that again, the Killmonger requirement will be taken care of. So we were at 6. If we're able to get another fight like that, Killmonger will be done. I can switch on over to Green Goblin, and then we will be done for the day as far as dailies. Going in again, I would say with this one, I'm going to assume that they are probably looking at a beast requirement, as they are bringing in quite a significantly weaker beast. Again, my targets here, I am probably going to, I think I'm probably going to still go after Sinister first, or Strife rather. Just kind of seeing what we can do, and obviously what my opponent does. But yeah, so we'll see. I'm assuming, based off of power, I would say probably Pyro and Beast are something they're working towards as far as their requirements, but I mean, you never really know. It's kind of just an assumption on my end. I was able to get my 1 Killmonger attack in, so that is perfect. Still have Minerva's res up, so can certainly res on up if I need to. And we will just kind of keep zipping along. Hopefully, again, Killmonger stays alive, and maybe my opponent will ignore him, which would be awesome. Very oddly, he decided to clone my Minerva, which that kind of surprises me. Most of the time, they normally go for the anti-venom when they're doing the clones, but certainly not one to judge someone else's strategy. Maybe he is planning to have kind of a double res for his whatever character he's working towards, which is certainly definitely, I guess, an interesting strategy. One that I haven't tried, but that's mainly because I don't actually think I even have Sinister unlocked on this account yet. So we did just lose our Killmonger, so on Minerva's next turn, we will get him rezzed back up and not have to worry about that. So just kind of going in. I would like to get this Strife taken out, as it is really kind of challenging to kind of get this team kind of taken out with Strife still alive. So boom, we will get Killmonger back up, and Strife is down. Now it'll be kind of interesting with our with them having 2 reses on the field. Be kind of curious. I'm actually surprised they didn't res the Strife. But hey, I mean, it is what it is. So I'm going to try to take out that Minerva, and then I'm going to target the other Minerva over here to make sure there's no additional reses. Still, his beast is kind of still along and kicking. So if he is going for beast moves, he's certainly got a couple in himself. I believe that was Killmonger's 3rd attack, if I'm not mistaken. Minerva is still up, as well as Killmonger, so I should hopefully be able to get in a fourth attack, if I am not mistaken. I'll get Killmonger up a little bit in health and just kind of keep this going. So thinking I should be able to switch on over to my Green Goblin. I believe that was my Killmonger's fourth attack. We'll finish up this fight real fast and then go on over to Green Goblin. Green Goblin, it's obviously going to be a little bit more challenging as he is certainly a lot weaker than my Killmonger. Not that my Killmonger is crazy beefy, but it's just he's much weaker. I don't think I've literally done anything at all to my Green Goblin, where at least with Killmonger he was a little built up. Again, nothing crazy, but so yeah, my Green Goblin is literally 103 is his power. So he is pretty much going to get one-shotted by anything and everything. So again, really the kind of goal here is to just kind of res him with Minerva, and it might take a little bit longer. This one actually might take 10 solid fights. Again, hopefully I'm able to manage 2 attacks, and if I can get those 2 attacks, we can maybe hopefully cut this down to only 5 attacks. But we'll see. It kind of depends on what my opponent does. I'm gonna probably assume my opponent here is, I would think, maybe doing something supernatural related since they have both Elsa and Scarlet Witch. But again, you just kind of never really know when you're going up something like this. So Green Goblin did die. I'm going to pop a res with Minerva, so that should hopefully at least give him a turn prior to the enemy going. So I did at least get my 1 Green Goblin attack in. We will hopefully shoot for a second one, but again, no guarantee on that. I'll let him keep his supernatural people just as long as possible. Again, the kind of goal there is to avoid someone, rage quitting until that little, I guess, glitch is taken care of. So I think Green Goblin will actually go next. So I'm going to pop Anti-Venom Special. I was able to get that second attack in with Green Goblin. So certainly working towards that, 10 abilities. So if I can do 2 more of those, I might be able to cut this down to 5 fights. We're sitting right now just shy of about 28 minutes. So kind of more or less in my 30-minute daily kind of time window. Depending on your matches and depending on what your actual character requirements are, it might take just a little bit more than 30 minutes. But, ultimately it's not too bad. It has been moving along pretty quickly. Here I am pretty outpowered going against this Defenders team. Looks like they are doing something with Karath, and so I will probably try to avoid killing the Karath, because again, I just don't want someone rage quitting. So I think my main target is going to be the Daredevil, as he does kind of have the largest AoE component to his kit. Should be able to take out Daredevil pretty quickly, and then the rest of it will be just kind of cleanup. I'll probably go for, I think, maybe Jessica Jones after that, just to kind of avoid the cleanse mechanic that she does possess. As I am using the symbiotes, which are heavy debuff orientated. Managed to get my Green Goblin attack in, so that is certainly a plus. Sadly, his Karath died of bleeds, which I cannot be faulted for. My Green Goblin is down. I am going to pop that res with Minerva on my next turn, and I should hopefully be able to get in my second Green Goblin attack. Definitely an easy win on my part. Not seeing any problems with that. And that's a bit unfortunate. So he did take out my Green Goblin a second time. I guess maybe a little revenge since I killed his Karath. Again, totally no fault. Again, this is, for a lot of people in RTA, it is definitely about getting those 10 or those 550 knockouts. So I can't fault the guy, but we will still try to go in and get the little win in. And if we can kind of drag this fight out long enough, we actually might be able to get Minerva's res back up and still kind of shoot for that second attack. So we'll see. I think, and we had another rage quit. Uh, so again, a bit annoying. It is what it is. I at least still managed to get my one Green Goblin attack, I believe. Um, but again, stuff like that, it can be a little frustrating. It is what it is. Until the next season of Arena starts and that feature is kind of taken care of, where you don't have to worry about your opponent rage quitting. Um, Going here, so we have kind of someone employing a similar strategy that I'm doing. They've got 3 beefy characters and 2 weak ones. 2 weak ones, obviously, being Namor and Cyclops. So again, I am going to try to avoid having my opponent rage quit. I am going to go after the Anti-Venom and Symbiote Spider-Man first. And I definitely try to keep my Minerva alive, as I don't want Minerva dying. Again, Minerva is kind of crucial to getting my Green Goblin rezzed once he inevitably dies. So hopefully we can avoid Minerva dying. And I will, let him have his attacks with his 2 characters. He is targeting. All right, Minerva's down, and Green Goblin is now down. So at this point now, we are just, screw it. Done being nice for this one. I'm going after his Cyclops. I'm going after his Namor. Um, you know, so at this point, will call me a sore loser, but kind of targeted my objectives. I might as well just go ahead and do the same. So at this point now, we are just shooting for the win. This should still be an easy win for myself. I don't think the Anti-Venom, Symbiote Spider, Emma team should be able to beat me. We'll see, though. Pretty close, as I was going a little on the gentler side when this match started. So kind of, I guess we'll see what we can do damage-wise. And yeah. So looking, I would say, bit on the rougher side. Probably going to lose this fight. Anti-Venom's down now, and Scream will soon be following. Going to take out the Emma. He definitely has a very beefy Anti-Venom, which is what's taking out my entire team. But again, this is one of those things where I guess a sore loser or whatever would probably rage quit at this point. But again, kind of just like I've discussed, I mean, the rage quitting I don't think is fair to anyone involved. As this has kind of been going on, I have won a good majority of the fights. So, I mean, losing one fight is really not the end of the world. And, I think it's just silly to rob someone else of getting their points, at least for their knockouts. So that fight, done and over with. Good win on their end. They did have a really beefy anti-venom, which is pretty cool to see. I still did at least get my one Green Goblin attack in, so we are still looking at another 6. So Green Goblin, sadly, is taking a little bit longer than I normally would like, but it's okay. This is probably someone looking at their team. They've probably finished all of their daily objectives for the day, and they are just kind of going for probably knockouts, would be my guess. Looking at the team, going against a full Avengers team, or Wave 1 Avengers, again, Thor is going to be my primary target, as I don't want him popping off that AoE. My opponent is probably, I would say, going to target my Minerva, if it is a human player. Just because that kind of just seems to be the natural target that people are going for. They did just knock out Minerva. Hopefully they do not knock out my Green Goblin before I can at least get an attack in with him. So boom, we at least got one Green Goblin attack in. So we have at least met that requirement. We'll see how the rest of the team fares. This may be another loss on my end. But again, at least we did still get the one attack in. But we will see. Still gonna always, shoot for a win and kind of see what happens. We're looking at a bunch of debuffs on my end. We've got some stuns, some blinds. So Anti-Venom will go in and try to get some buffs going. And if I can take out the Thor, I would think the rest of the team should go down pretty easily. But it's just a matter of getting past Captain America and then getting access to Thor. In a normal world, I mean, if you were running full symbiotes, this would be a super easy win. But only running a partial symbiote team against a full synergized team can be a little bit on the challenging side. And it does look like we are going to lose this one. So just kind of a matter of Venom going in. I'm actually just going to pop this on auto and let the game kind of do its thing. And just kind of, speed things up a little bit. And boom, nice, quick, easy little loss for us. But we did again at least get in our one Green Goblin attack. So if we can hopefully, if we can get lucky and kind of go up against a weaker opponent, we can maybe get 2 or 3 attacks in a match and just kind of speed this up a little bit. Going in, kind of again, another mixed team. I'm going to say probably they are looking at building up Psylocke abilities, as they've got kind of 3 strong characters and then actually a tank to taunt. So I'm going to go after Anti-Venom first and, hopefully take care of that component. Anti-Venom can be a big problem, especially when the team starts to get going. They took out my Green Goblin pretty early. I'm going to res him up, and at this point, I tried to be gentlemanly and avoid the Psylocke, but I'm just going to kill the Psylocke now, and, clearly it's just a going for the knockouts. So Green Goblin is dead again. I'm going to kill the Psylocke real fast and just get rid of her. And then I'll just kind of go for the rest of the team. Again, I think I still will target Anti-Venom first. Just because that probably, I would say, is the stronger of the remaining 4 characters. But actually, you know what? I think we're going to go after Scream first and get rid of her. She's got a debuff on her as well as a vulnerable. If we can get this battle to prolong just a little bit, I might actually be able to get Green Goblin back up on the field, but we will see. Trying to get that taunt off of Captain America, and it is sticking. So at this point, Captain America is just about dead, so I'm just going to finish that off and at least get rid of that taunting element. And again, we had a rage quit, so again, kind of annoying. I would be kind of annoyed if I was still going for my knockouts for the day. At this point, I guess it just kind of speeds up to the next fight. Still sitting at 5 for Green Goblin. And so hopefully the next one a little more balanced, and I don't run into basically someone that's just going to quit. So here, 155, again, fairly even match. I am going to say that they're probably shooting for something with Beast. So again, I am going to go after that Rocket Raccoon first, and kind of get rid of that AoE element. And sadly, that Beast is getting targeted just via AoE. But he should be able to live a little bit. Green Goblin is down. We're going to res him up real fast. Hopefully he is not targeted. Good. He is still alive and kicking, so he should at least be able to get 1 attack in this fight, which is good. I'll go in. We will pop that in. Going to go in and think again, still getting rid of Rocket Raccoon is a good idea, as he will be doing his AoE in a turn or 2, and the Green Goblin, he does still have the Death Proof, so he should still be able to survive at least 1 more attack. So if we can get him 1 more attack in, that would definitely be ideal. So yeah, boom, got him his 2nd attack, so now we are shooting for a 3rd attack with Green Goblin. He doesn't seem to be targeting him, which is pretty nice. I should, I think, be able to get in that 3rd attack, which would certainly make life a little easier as far as getting to these 10. That would pop me up to, I believe, 8, which would then, if I can manage a attack of just 2, the achievement will be done and over with, and we can wrap up the RTA dailies. But anyway, so let's go in. We'll have Green Goblin attack again, so that is attack number 3 for him, and if we can get one more attack in, be super. Let's see. Scream, yeah. Actually, pretty nice. We had a Groot res, which certainly helps, and if Anti-Venom doesn't kill him, boom, we got another attack in with our Green Goblin, so I think we managed 3 or 4 that battle. It's definitely pretty nice. Going in, and I think at that point we should just need one more fight, and we should be good to go. So that should have us at 9. So if we can get one more attack with our Green Goblin, we will be good to go with our RTA dailies. We'll kind of wrap up the video at that point and call it a day. Going in, this is full Asgardians, so this is probably someone that has already completed their dailies for the day and is probably working towards just straight knockouts. We're going to go in again, kind of like I said, we will get rid of Thor. Hela is going to AoE kind of right off the bat and kill Green Goblin, which is just, to be expected. I think we're going to go and res our Green Goblin again, kind of hoping to get him an attack, because again, we just need one attack in order to complete this milestone. I'm going to pop in some health to just kind of keep Minerva alive a little bit longer. He does have that death proof, so as long as he is not targeted on this initial attack run, he should live. Looks like they are targeting Minerva, which I am more than okay with. Boom, still kicking, so our Green Goblin should be able to get an attack in, and at that point, win or lose, we have kind of met our mission requirements for this fight. And, regardless of how the fight goes, I'm more than content. If I start losing a bunch of characters, I can always just pop it into auto and just kind of let the game do its thing. But I think I should be able to manage a kind of quick win. Surprisingly, our Green Goblin lived through that AoE attack, and it's probably going to come down to a 3v5. And I have had pretty good experience with the symbiotes still managing to take out a good chunk of the Asgardians by themselves. So again, we'll ability block Hela, and the good thing about Scream is she will kind of cut through all of these stealths and get the Asgardians visible again. But yeah, despite it looking a bit on the grimmer side at the moment, this should still be a pretty easy win for myself. We will take out Hemdall and then take out Sif, and then from there we will then go after Thor as well as Hela, and that should be the rest of the match. So boom, and so now we are quickly at a 3v3. And this should be a pretty easy fight. Hela just dropped from bleed, so we are now at a 3v2, since the Greg doesn't really count. And so this is a nice easy win. Finish up this fight, and then just kind of wrap up the video. So just kind of, I guess, going to first full circle, rather. Typical strategy, I'm going in with 3 of my strong attack teams. In the situation where I have to use 30 abilities, I typically will take in 2 characters, and then when I am doing the 10 abilities, I just kind of go in with 1 character and Minerva, who brings you that res component. And so hopefully y'all found this helpful. Please like and subscribe if you did, and any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to me on Discord at Khaleesi, or in-game at any of the 3 accounts. Thank you again so much for watching, and hope you're having a good one, and good luck with those dailies.